Hello, I'm Georgina Jalbo from Lexis PSL Private Client, and I've got with me today Phillipa Bruce-Kerr, a partner at Harrison Clarke Rickerbys, and Phillipa leads a team specialising in advising older and vulnerable clients. And I'd like to ask Phillipa how she predicts the provisions of the Care Act 2014 will work in practice and whether there are any areas of concern or ambiguity.
Hello. Whether or how it will work in practice is really the million-dollar question. The idea of the Act is very good. It brings together a range of obligations that have sort of been out there, but nobody has really had a definite responsibility for seeing them through and making sure things happen. It also addresses things such as personal budgets. It addresses the question of care fees as time goes by and how the caps work. So there's a lot that is good within the Act. I think the difficulty that we face at the moment is there are a number of obligations that are now placed very firmly on local authorities. And I'm not sure that they're actually in a particularly good position to try and meet those obligations. They have far more in the way of obligations to carry out assessments of needs for both people who have care needs themselves, but also of carers providing support to those individuals. The people who carry out the assessments are supposed to be trained for that purpose. Where appropriate, they are supposed to bring in other areas of expertise that are relevant to the assessment they're making. They are supposed to be making referrals to NHS specialists where, for example, continuing healthcare funding may be an issue. I think until we get to April, when everybody starts, in theory, implementing it, we're not really going to know the extent to which the people who are supposed to be doing it at the coalface are ready for it and have been trained, whether they actually have enough of those people, and whether they have the resources available to be able to carry out the assessments properly. It's all good intention, and it could, in theory, work wonderfully, but I think at the moment we're all in the position that we know there are budget constraints. So whether or not people are going to be there to be able to do these things is the question.
Yeah.
In terms of the issues associated with care assessments and the provision of care and support, I think one of the big difficulties that you have with carers who are providing care is that they don't like asking for help in the first place. And I think one of the difficulties is the Act gives the obligation to carry out assessments, but what steps are going to be taken to try and make contact with those people that need the help? As it stands at present, I know there are carers out there who desperately need help and they ask for help, but they don't actually get it. I'm not quite sure what it is they're going to do differently so they hear those voices. Now, it could be that the large number of carers forums and so on that have been established in the past few years are going to be the main lead into that form of support. My only observation would be there are an awful lot of people who are carers who aren't really into carers forums and talking shops. How are you going to be getting to the other people? My other concern is, as it stands at present, social services today, before the regulations come in, already have an obligation to carry out care needs assessments for individuals who they are aware have care needs. In practice, it is very difficult to get those needs assessed. In some areas, it's a bit of a case of if you have your own money and you're going to have to pay for your support, you organise all of those things yourself. It's not till we actually, as a local authority, have to provide the support that they are going to step in and become involved. If that sort of approach carries through under the Care Act and works through in terms of the way they relate to and support carers and people going forward, it's not going to work as an arrangement, I don't think. Either that, or people are going to end up doing what they do now, which is they will find other people who can help them have the assessments carried out. And frankly, since even under the Care Act, they may well have to pay for any assistance they get if they have the resources. A lot of these arrangements may well be made, as frankly a lot of them are now, without direct involvement of social services anyway.
Well, thank you very much, Phillipa. So the situation seems to be wait and see what happens in April, and we might have to ask you to come back in June or in the summer. Thank
Pleasure.
you, Phillipa.
Thank you.